Aliens invade Earth, and humanity stands helpless against their turmoil. As one man and his wife, alongside their group of friends, attempt to defy the odds stacked against them, how long will they last against a world-ending calamity? Hello, and welcome to our channel. Today we'll recap and review Skyline, a sci-fi thriller made in 2010. Let's check it out.
Bright blue lights, accompanied with deafening noise and immense trembling, descend beneath downtown Los Angeles, disrupting the sleep of a couple residing on top of a high-rise condominium. The wife becomes nauseous while she's greeted by the immense brightness and noise emanating beyond her curtains. Waking her husband, they both assess the situation, but are instead disrupted by the screams of another woman in the far side of their room. The husband runs for the adjacent quarters, and the woman who screamed earlier is horrified by what seems to be the prime source of her astonishment, a hypnotic luminescence. 15 hours before this incident, the same couple boarded a flight en route to Los Angeles to attend a birthday party they got invited to. Jared and Elaine are thrilled to have their exciting getaway. As they arrive on the West Coast, the invitees climb up a sky-high condominium to be greeted by the birthday celebrant, Terry. They drink, swim, get along, dance, and anything else to be expected from such a celebration, at least for now. While the rest of the guests party, the actual reason Terry invited Jared, besides the celebration itself, is to work with him in LA. But Jared, and especially Elaine, who excuses herself from their exchange, is too hesitant to reside permanently in Los Angeles, most likely due to financial reasons. But the actual reason Elaine doesn't want to stay in the City of Angels is because she's pregnant, explaining her nausea later on. She kept this secret from her husband shy of 9 months, as she thought it would ruin their trip for him. Both are equally devastated, even Terry. The celebration is too much for the building's concierge to bear, so he knocks on Terry's door, complaining about the immense noise made by the gathering, even though half the building has been vacated. Encountered by Terry's girlfriend, Candace, she tells him off as she returns to celebrate in the function. Eventually, they all settle down, and Terry calls it a night as he lowers the motorized blinds in his shared room, leaving a couple of other guests, Denise and her boyfriend Ray, to hit the hay. At 4:27 in the morning on the first day of the invasion, where we currently are, the blue lights begin to descend on the Californian metropolis, with their combined luminescence bearing hypnotic qualities. Ray falls victim to it as if he were a moth to a flame.
As the earth beneath them trembles and the brightness draws him closer to its source, veins protrude all over his body, especially in his face. His eyes dilating and their irises becoming a gray color, until without any hint, he instantly vanishes in front of Denise, making her scream in terror, waking the others.
Ray isn't the only victim either, as Jared himself is caught by the allure of said brightness as he arrives at the scene to where Denise is. Experiencing the same symptoms, Denise begs helplessly for him to stay away, but Terry arrives just in time to grapple him from his trance. Struggling to hear his friends clearly while Denise tries to dramatically explain what happened to the rest of them, the blue lights outside begin rising into the sky again. Lowering the blinds for cover, the crew demands to know what Jared has seen. However, they see nothing, so Terry is willing to explore whatever's going on. Candace worries that Terry has resorted to rash measures once she sees him draw his gun, yet he insists that they need to search for what's outside. Bringing Jared with him, they walk through the hallway and stumble upon one of the building's residents, an old guy named Walt, carrying his adorable little puppy with him. Back at his apartment, Denise, Candace, and Elaine wait around for any sort of reception to return to their phones or TVs. Instead, they only hear static and they see no broadcasts, or even broadcasters for that matter. Terry and Jared get on top of the condo's roof through the fire exit, only for them to get locked out as Jared gets too distracted with his camera to wedge something between the door and the sill, trapping themselves on the roof, giving them no choice but to view the desolate city beneath them. Then, the silence is broken by extraterrestrial invaders who make their presence known. Aiming his camera towards the descending blue lights through the lens, Jared sees a whirlwind of people being suctioned into an enormous vessel plummeting from the clouds. Its titanic majesty amazes and horrifies the two men while they view it from their vantage point. The blue lights act as landing coordinates for the alien mothership as it docks itself into Los Angeles soil, while people are still being sucked into what seems to be the ship's cargo hold. Panicking, Terry whips out his pistol and repeatedly shoots the locked steel door as a drone emerging from the mothership quickly approaches him and Jared. Simultaneously, Elaine from the other side barges the door open, where the two make a run for it. Suddenly, she falls towards the drone, blaring out its azure hypnotic luminosity shortly before her husband pulls her out just in time to the safety of the building.
Breathing heavily after having her veins stick out of her body, Elaine lies down and describes the feeling of almost having been abducted by the light as something rather beautiful, explaining the mesmerization it grants only before the instant abduction that follows.
However, more symptoms arise, not only from her, but Jared as well. His side begins to pulsate. Hiding it from his wife, he can't let her know the adverse effects of the blue lights may have affected her, and quite possibly the child she's bearing too. Looking for another escape route, Terry knocks on Walt's door in order to acquire his car keys so they can escape together. But Walt refuses. Without warning, an alien drone hovers outside the apartment window, hunting for prey. Hiding behind a countertop, the old man tries to shush the pooch in his arms in order to drive away attention from the drone entering the room. However, the mutt bolts up once it gets provoked by the noise, immediately pulled by the alien alongside its owner into its gaping jaws. Terry runs for his life while ineffectively firing his pistol against the alien. Elaine argues that they weren't found because they were quiet, while Terry asserts that their chances of living are high if they get to make it out of the city. Jared agrees with him, much to the disappointment of his wife. The crew make a break for the condo's garage, and while there they meet Jen and Colin, a couple quarreling while they pack. Loading themselves onto two different cars, with Terry and Denise leading the way while the rest of them trail behind. As they're about to exit the garage, a reptilian foot from a medium-sized alien smashes Terry's vehicle, killing Denise in the process. As he tries to run for the trio following him, the pursuing alien's tongue coils itself around Terry, snagging him into its jaws. This was their escape plan. Now they need to escape it as well. In spite of everything, the garage itself isn't safe to begin with, as a stray alien drone is also looking for them there. On their way back inside, Colin gets dragged into the drone's leash. Horrified, Jen jolts for Jared and co. until they get cornered. Beset on all sides, Jared gets lured into the light once more while the three women cower, until all of a sudden, a speeding car rams itself into the alien drone, disabling it. Exiting the vehicle is none other than the man who complained about the birthday party's noise the evening before, the condo's concierge, Oliver. The crew also managed to pull Colin back out of the alien that devoured him, only for it to regain consciousness, grabbing him, decapitating him, and replacing its brain using his.
Colin's death indicates why the aliens are on Earth to begin with. In order to not get their minds harvested, they must hide. Yet they aren't safe inside, and outside is just as dangerous, if not more. Horror and terror aside, the gang narrowly escaped the wrath of the behemoth, with Jen getting captured by the extraterrestrial beast.
Hastily retreating from the alien tank's onslaught into the same building they themselves were trapped in, hiding has shown and proven itself to be more effective than running, temporarily at least. Under pressure, the remaining members discuss back inside the apartment what to do if help ever arrives, with Oliver suggesting they stay until then. But the crew are stressed, especially Elaine because of her pregnancy. At night, Oliver and Jared take turns keeping watch. Then both of them and the rest hear gunfire coming from below. They observe humans resisting the alien attack with whatever weapons they have against the medium-sized aliens. Realizing the fighting humans' chances are rather slim after getting crushed, what makes theirs comparatively better anymore even if they hide? The second day of the invasion arrives, and Jared describes to Elaine how he still feels powerful after having been immersed by the taunting illumination, stirring doubts within the crew regarding his judgment when he discusses with them the escape plan Terry attempted for them. Suddenly, roars of jet engines sourcing from outside disrupt their dispute. Peeking from their ruined blinds, they witness the United States striking back against the alien force. The dogfight they expected to be slaughterous towards the enemy unfortunately happened to be for the human side, sinking their hopes as plane after plane falls from the sky until a lone missile from one jet fighter strikes a hit against the mothership. A nuclear explosion blows up the enormous vessel, plunging it into the ground as it bursts into flames, but only for so long as it begins to quickly repair itself, rendering all the effort that went into putting it down pointless. Oliver demands Candace help seek cover. Jared insists once more they escape, prompting the concierge to address his fellow survivors' lapsing judgment, while also pointing out the new symptoms that have emerged ever since his near abduction. Provoked, Jared strangles Oliver to demonstrate his availability of increased strength, alongside the lack of trust that he has for anyone besides Elaine. While they make for their escape, Candace and Oliver remain to hide. U.S. Marine forces occupy the building. Jared and Elaine try to run towards the troops, and as a chopper attempts to land on top of the roof to pick them up, a medium-sized alien grabs it with its tongue like appendage, crashing it to the ground. As the mothership nears full repair, spare alien drones that were put to restore it begin to depart to either participate in straggling aerial combat or to survey for remaining humans to abduct. One of these drones obstructs Jared and Elaine's escape, while another devours Candace when Oliver wasn't available to cover for her. Amongst the chaos, a tank alien climbs upwards to the condo where Oliver is, where he comes face to face with the monstrosity. Without any choice, he sacrifices himself by taking advantage of a gas leak to cause a large explosion, badly damaging the beast. Back on the roof, Jared and Elaine kill off 2 alien drones pursuing them, wherein Jared makes good use of the abilities he further developed from that one that tried to hypnotize him in overpowering the other.
In spite of this, alongside military assistance, however, the onslaught is just too much to handle. But Elaine refuses to run away, regardless of her husband's instructions. So she and Jared face the jaws of death and get abducted together.
But this isn't the end. On the 3rd day of the invasion, every city on Earth is left in ruins by the invading forces. Inside the mothership back at Low, every person who's been abducted gets their brains harvested as resources to serve as replacement minds for the alien drones. Amongst the carnage, one pregnant woman gets her child brutally pulled out of her womb, much to Elaine's unfortunate sight. Jared himself is pulled by one of the aliens to take his mind as its own, killing him in the process. As his wife grieves, however, the alien inheriting Jared's brain acts erratically, as his brain glows red, unlike the rest of the abductees whose brains were blue. The alien taking possession of Jared's mind has its body possessed by Jared himself. While his consciousness overpowers the host body, he immediately rushes to protect his wife from the drones, about to take her and their child. Confused after having just seen her head's husband detached earlier, the drone Jared has taken control of caresses Elaine's belly, where she immediately recognizes that this beast is now her husband. What's left of him anyways. Despite having control of his new alien vessel, he's still father and husband first, alien soldier second. As the aliens residing within the mothership gather and begin eyeing him and his wife, Jared can't help but prepare himself for the worst family feud he'll ever be in.
In terms of reflecting on an action-packed movie like this one, it bears the theme of perseverance against all odds, evident in most alien invasions. You have a group of your average Janes and Joes with everything stacked up against them, all hope seemingly lost, yet you can't help but root for the underdogs as the antes are upped and the stakes are sky high. Fairly cliche, but also enjoyable. Regarding the fundamentals of the film itself, although it contains predictable tropes typical of alien invasion movies, it ends on a cliffhanger for a sequel, which is enough of a defining characteristic to entertain its viewers even further. This film takes it to the next level by telling a continual story, as opposed to its competitors just being one-offs or standalones. If you'd like to watch an alien invasion themed marathon, the 2 subsequent films that follow can be entertaining as well, and maybe you could even have us recap them for you. Please subscribe to our channel to be notified when we upload, and don't forget to suggest movies that you want us to recap in the future in the comments down below.